Hello. In this video, we're going to learn how to use templates with Flask. Flask is a web application framework built with Python. It allows you to construct large database-driven websites that use templates instead of having individual web pages built for every page that you see in the website. What is a template, you might well ask? Well, a template is an HTML file that has placeholders, like you see here, between the placeholder appears between a pair of double curly braces. So you'll see there are a lot of different placeholders in this file, and by writing the file this way, you're able to swap in different data. So different data depending on which president is being displayed at the moment. Apart from a database, you can also use Flask to drive a website from a simple CSV file. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take a CSV file and we are going to show you how to generate pages for every president. So there are 45 presidents from the first to the most current, and for any president at all, you will see a page with similar information, identical layout, but there is only one single HTML file in this whole app. So this is one of many advantages Flask can give. This video is focused on using the templates and making them work. So we're not going to talk about everything else that Flask can do. Now we're going to start with a CSV file. And we're going to take a look at it. This has all 45 presidents, and there are 15 columns of information in this CSV file. For this to work, you definitely need to have a header row in your CSV file, and the headings at the top of each column, they cannot have any spaces, no spaces. And as far as if you need any punctuation, I would limit it to either hyphens or underscores, no other kind of punctuation. So we've got 15 different columns here for our presidents and 45 rows from first to last. And every president has a unique identifier in the first column, which has a column heading of presidency. And so Washington is number 1, Adams is number 2, our most recent president is number 45. So you get the general idea of the spreadsheet. We've got the date that the president took office, the president's home state, the college they attended, and so on and so forth. We also have file names for each image. And even though these match the number, they are given as a complete file name with the extension .jpg on the end. We're going to begin with a basic Flask app, and then we're going to build up to the template that uses the CSV data. But before we get started with our basic app, I want to show you the folder structure, because when you begin building this, you want to have things set up a certain way. So I've got a Python folder, and I try to keep all my Python work in here, and I try to name folders logically. So for work that I'm doing this year with my classes, I have a folder named Flask 2020. And what I want you to see is that the folder that we're doing our work in, let's make that a wee bit bigger. The folder that I'm building this project in is a folder named example_project. So not the name I'd normally give, but I've already got a finished app called Presidents. So I'm going to be working in this folder. I'm going to open it now, and this is the folder where everything will be, okay? Now I already have an environment installed, a Python virtual environment. I've already got it set up for Flask in my Flask 2020 folder. And if you're one of my students, you also have an environment already. That's not going to be covered in this video. So when I'm in the example project folder, I can have my environment already in play. Now, the first thing we're going to look at is this particular Python file, which is a basic Flask app. This basic app named hello3.py was covered in a chapter in our online resource, Flask Part 2. So even though we're going beyond this now, we're going to begin with this little app. And the code for that can be found in the section of that resource that covers Flask. So we've got all the Flask things in one folder in the repo, and this is the code for the app that we're going to begin with, and we're going to convert this step by step into the Presidents app using templates. Now, just a fast reminder of what the Hello3 app does. So I'm in my terminal on my Mac. I am in my virtual environment already, which you can see by the env over to the left side of my terminal prompt. So I need to change into my directory, which is example project. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it. Now I'm in the right place. And I'm going to see what's in there, just my two things, my President CSV and my Hello3. So I am going to run that. And because of the last two lines of it, I can run this Flask app the way I would run any Python script at all. So I hit enter or return, and the built-in Flask server starts up, right? Then I need to switch to my web browser, and I open a new tab, and in that tab, I'm going to type localhost 5000, and this little baby app starts up. So this app writes two things to the screen at the top of the server, because this is a route that starts with just a slash. So we're basically at the index page of a site, and it writes a heading that says hello Gators, and it writes a little link. And when we click the link, it goes to a different URL. And the key here is that whatever appears after user slash is going to appear on the page written into the HTML. And this is going to be important for our templates. So I'm going to go back to the code, show you how this works. But when I say anything that's written in there is going to appear on the page, I will demonstrate that now. So I will type the word donkey and I will press return to reload the page, and you see what happened. I will type the word elephant and press return, and you see what happened. So this is caused by the instructions in the Flask app. And we're going to look at that basic little app now and then convert it step by step into the Presidents app. We will open it in Atom, our text editor, and the first two lines don't have to change at all. The second line, we don't have to change the decorator that gives us the route, because this is the top of the website. It's just a slash by itself. We can change the name of the function. So let's make that index. That's more typical. And let's see. And we can change these to some names of presidents. So let's say link 1 will be George Washington. And it will not be a user, but it will be a president. And if I change user to president, that means I need to change user here, because this first route, this route, is going to lead us with this link. It's going to lead us to the second route. And I'm also going to change this to a number, because George Washington is the first president. The number for George is 1. So I'm going to copy that line, And I am going to do president number 2. And who is that? That's going to be John Adams. And I'll make that link number 2. And you'll see why I'm naming them like this in a moment. Link 3, President 3, and that would be Thomas Jefferson. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to return link 1, 2, and 3. And of course, this is not using our database yet, but that's coming. All right, so on our index page, we're going to show 3 different links. And on our president page, well, look at what we've got in the URL after president. We've got a number, right? So it's not a name anymore. So let's change that variable name to num. So it was name. Now it's num. So I've got to change this one to num. And if I had this one, I would have to change that to num. Okay? Now, let's see. I'm going to send in a number, and I'm going to see that number, and I can delete this variable named instruction because that just told us to change something. Let me save this, reload, and we'll see what we have now. All right, so elephant isn't working anymore. Let's go back up to the root. And in the root, we have George, John, and Thomas. So if we go to George Washington, it says hello 1. Let's go back. If we go to Thomas Jefferson, it says hello 3. And back, if we go to John Adams, it says hello 2. So let's look at the code again. Can you see how this is working? All right. When I am on the root, when I'm at the root of the server, I am running this function. And when I'm running that function, what is returned to the browser is a string of these 3 variables concatenated together. These 3 variables are paragraphs that contain links. And the links they contain are president/1, president/2, president/3. What happens when the browser receives localhost 5000 president 3? Well, it's going to run this route. This route is invoked because of the request of that relative URL, president/3. And once that request is made, this function runs. The function that is decorated by the route. And so num from here gets passed into the function. And right here, we are using a Python string formatter. This is just Python, nothing special. My linter is not up to date. That's why it says invalid. But this num comes from this num, which comes from this num. And that's why if we clicked the link to president 3, this becomes 3. If we click the link to president 1, this on the page becomes 1. This, of course, is just what makes the app run. And I realize even though the app works with this function named user, even though the route that decorates it uses /president in the URL, in the route, I'm going to change this so that it is more logical. This is the way Flask routes and their functions are usually written. Also, this should probably, say something like, pres and run pres. Okay, make that a little more logical. But what I want to do at this point is actually not say hello 1 or hello 2 or hello 3. I want this to take that number that's passed in from the route, from the URL in the browser address bar. And I want to take that number and use it with my CSV file to extract which president is it and some of the information about that president. So that's where we're getting to. We still haven't looked at any templates yet, but I want to show you how this is going to pull information in from the spreadsheet. So that will be the last thing we do in this video. And in the next video, I promise we will really get to templates. To bring all the data from a CSV file into a Python application, what we need to do is we need to convert that CSV data into a list of Python dictionaries. So that was explained in a chapter called Dictionaries, but it's exactly what we're doing in the Presidents app is explained in the Flask templates chapter where we are now. And there's a walkthrough of the Presidents app here in this chapter. So we're going to go straight to converting a CSV to a list of dictionaries. This is explained in detail here in case the video goes too fast for you. But I'm going to copy and paste that function out of the code for the resource. And in the completed app, this function is in a file called modules. I'm going to take it out of there and I'm going to paste it into our video file, and I'm going to edit it down a little bit so that the comments are gone. So I'm going to copy it from here where you have access to it in the Presidents folder, in the Flask folder, in the examples, in the resource. I will go into our app here. Oh, and I just realized I'm still calling it Hello Pi. Let's do a save as, and save it as a decent file name. So let's say presidents.py. Okay, and again, we're working in our example project folder, right, that we started, and we have the CSV here, and we have presidents.py here. So I am going to make some space up here. I am going to paste that function, and I am going to edit out the comments just to make this more compact for the sake of the video. And these comments are in the resource so that you can see everything. So what we're doing is we are importing the Python CSV module, and we are running some methods that come with that module, and we are going to bring in our president's CSV. So I'm going to copy the name of the function so that I can run it. And the file name is going to be presidents.csv. And it's right here at the same level. And of course, as a file name, it has to be in quotes because it's a string, right? So presidents.csv. But in order to use this, I need to, what is returned by this function, right? That's what we always think. So here's our function that converts a CSV into a list of dictionaries. What does it return? It returns a list of dictionaries. But how am I going to use that? When it's returned, what do I need to do? Well, I need to make a new variable. So let me call it pres list. How's that? So it's a list of dictionaries, right? List of dictionaries. But in the app that we're building here, I'm going to call that list pres list. And so when this function runs and takes in president's CSV, it is going to open the file that I passed to it, president's CSV, and it is going to run the dictreader method of the CSV module on that file, right, on this file that came from president's CSV, and it is going to then turn it into a regular list of dictionaries and close the CSV file and then return that list. So that's what we've got happening right now. We're going to use that CSV then to get the data out of it, and it's going to be a list, and every president, all the data in the row in the CSV, one row, will be one Python dictionary. So you'll see what those look like in a moment. Before I make any further changes to the file presidents.py, we're going to need to restart the server because we're no longer running the app named hello3.py. We're now going to run the app named presidents.py. And that means we have to shut down the Flask server and restart it. So to do that, we go into our terminal and we press Control-C, and that makes the server quit. And instead of typing Python hello3.py, we are going to type the name of the app that we want to run, still in the same folder, so we don't have to change our location. Okay, same server stuff starts up. There we are. Now back to Adam, our code editor. So we have a list of all the presidents, and all the data for a president is in a dictionary, and that is a list item. Okay, so how can we see what that would look like? How about, we're not going to change the root route, the app that goes for the root of the server, not going to change that at all. But down here, instead of even using this variable pres, what if we return our list? But wait, let's not return the list of all 45 presidents. What if we just return the list item that corresponds to the number? So our variable is number, and we know from what we did before, right now we're testing president number 1, number 2, and number 3. So if we feed in that number, a list, each item in a list, you can get the value out of it by using its index number. So if I feed it 1 here, this will be 1. And if I feed it 2 here, this will be 2. So let's see what we get if we do that. So save the app, and since we're running it in debug mode, we don't have to restart the server. We can just reload the page. So I'm going to go back up to the root and reload. And now what happens if I click George Washington? Oh my gosh, I got a terrible error, right? I got this error. It's all scary. Don't panic. Indices, meaning indexes, must be integers, not str. Str means string. So that means, what comes in from a URL in the browser, what comes in from an HTTP request to the server, even though it looks like a number, it's actually a number as a string. So we can't use it that way. So we need to convert it to an int. And if you've been learning Python, you know that you can take a string that looks like a number, but really it's a string, and convert it into an integer by calling the int function on it. So that's what we're doing instead of what we did before, and we save and we reload from the root, and we try George again. But look what we got. Is this George? This is not George. Also, George is all out of order because dictionaries are unordered. We can't use indexes on dictionaries because you never know what kind of order they'll be in, but we can use indexes on lists because their order doesn't change. We did not get George Washington. We got president number 2. Do you remember about list indexes starting at 0? Right. So if we change that to 0, then we will get George. So in order to make this work, to actually have the 1 become the first item in the list, we need to change 1 into 0. So all we need to do is subtract 1. And notice we have to subtract 1 outside the parentheses for the function that changes the string num into an integer, because if we put the -1 inside those parentheses, we would get an error. So we first turn num into an int, then we subtract 1, turning president 1 into president 0, president 2 into president 1, president 3 into president 2, but that'll do it for anybody right here. And this whole expression inside the square brackets is one index for our list that's named preslist. So we'll save that, and we will go back to the root of our server, and we get George, and now we have George. And we'll go back and we'll get Jefferson, just so you see the order is not important. There's Jefferson, and we will go get Adams. There we go. So I'm bringing in all the information for one president each time I get one list item from our list named pres list. So I've got 15 different items of data, and each one has a key and a value. A key and a value. A key and a value. That is what a Python dictionary is. That's the way it's set up. Each key value pair is separated from the next one by a comma, and that is what our function transformed our CSV into. A list of 45 of these. 45 of these, one for each president. This is proof that we can get all the data out of what was our CSV, which is now a list of dictionaries, and we can take that data and we can render it through Flask as a HTTP response, putting it on a web page. Our next task is to figure out how do we get a president that looks like this, or rather like this for George, right? How do we turn that into this? The answer is templates. We will learn how to use templates with Flask in the next video.